Hello, Mech fans. This is Duncan Fisher. Hold on firmly to your mana potions, fireballs, and familiars, because you are tuning in to your regularly scheduled episode of the First Circuit Podcast.
And with that, hello and welcome to the First Circuit Podcast episode number 84. Today's gonna be a short episode because we're both light on topics and light on hosts. Speaking of hosts, we've got Biter.
I'm light.
We've got Old Bob.
I'm lighter.
Highly doubt that. And of course myself, Into Semi, who is probably the lightest out of all of us. For topics today, we've got the Mechwarrior 3 and Cinco De Mayo event and sale. We've got an update on the public test server for faction play update. There was something going around with the Mechwarrior 5 Mercenaries AMA. Beyond that, we've got some very small things to mention, and in the end, we're gonna discuss a open topic, 60-ton battle mechs. Which ones do we like? And with that, let's take it to the first topic.
Alright, the event. Biggest thing for this one really is, well, that free hero mech, I would say. At least in my mind. The Banshee hero.
Yeah, the Banshee hero is really good.
I wouldn't agree with that, but it's really
come
good
on.
getting a mech.
It's a hero mech. All you gotta do is do 500 match score, and that's it. That's all you need to do. You get a free hero mech. That's good in itself.
You don't. The requirements for this is quite tricksy. You have to get 500 match score 5 times. A lot of the events they will ask you to do, the biggest thing they'll do is ask you 500 match score once. This one's asking you to do it 5 times. So that's 1,000 damage games where you survive, roughly thereabouts. And for a lot of players, that is really tricky to do.
Well, for new players,
and on top of that,
experienced.
Yeah, on top of that, you need to play a whole bunch of matches, like 20 matches with at least 150 match score. And again, there's a fair number of the populace that can sometimes struggle to do that. So this is quite a restrictive event overall, and that includes the biggest part of it, which is the hero mech. That being said, though, this is, at least they're not giving us another gridiron. I have enough gridirons as it is. They're actually giving us a assault hero mech. Obviously, you shouldn't buy it when it's not on sale, but that thing costs 7,000 MC, which was never really worth it. So unless you had lots of MC lying around, you would never really want to pick up any of the Banshee heroes. And now everyone can get their own mediocre Banshee hero to leave festering in their garage.
I have 2 thoughts about this whole event. 1, I hated it, and 2, I kind of liked it at the same time. One thing was the free paint jobs, or the free paint, basically free colors, and that's what I liked about it. It was pretty easy to get. Just lance formation, 500 missiles destroyed, really easy to do. Everyone's using missile systems, and then 50 components, destroyed. You get 3 paints, not bad. Paints are literally almost 1,000 MC each, and I need paints for my alt account. Bad thing. Well, the other good thing is really easy to get, like some of these, Flag Mexico is pretty easy to do. Bad thing is, go on.
I was just going to say that 50 components actually is a bit of a grind, particularly if you're coring enemy mechs out. That's 50 kills.
Well, that's what a lot of people do.
500 missiles destroyed actually takes a fair bit of time.
2 games.
Depends how many enemy missile mechs there are. Missiles are quite unpopular right now. So, me and Stray dropped in a few matches. I got it in 1 match, but Stray took about 7 matches or so to get it with a quad AMS Corsair.
Well, that brings me into my second point about what's bad about it. Basically, most of this damn match is dependent on other people doing certain things. Example was the missiles. There was, I think, one match after I started, after I already got this, no one used missiles, and that was last night actually playing. It's nobody used missiles, so I couldn't get any so I already got it, but the thing is I couldn't get anything else in case I was doing it right then and there. So it's dependent upon other people doing certain things, and also picking the stupid maps. Winning incursion, you have to get the incursion thing done. You have to, or the mode basically. Crimson Straight, you have to play one match on Crimson Straight. If you didn't get that for multiple games, you don't get that. You don't get that event. And I always hated the freaking thing where you have to go be dependent, like the UAV event. You got to shoot down a UAV, but you're battling against 11 other people, and then the other team has to drop a UAV. Dumb. I just hate those things. And yeah, you could troll it out and do whatever, but that is one of the things I do not like about these events. And this, almost the whole thing was literally, that whole purpose was, dependent upon other people in the community to do those types of matches or game modes. And that sucks. I hate those.
Yeah,
Well,
you often get enough skirmish, River City, Conquest, etc. It's just Hibernal Rift does not appear too often in the queue, and people aren't always voting for it because they don't always have sunglasses by them. And Incursion very rarely appears at the bottom. PGI's matchmaker sort of learned that people don't really want it, so just give them other modes. So it very rarely appears, and there's times where they're not actually even grinding for the event, or they forget about the event, and they just immediately vote against Incursion. And so first you have to get an Incursion match, which is, once in a blue moon, and second, you have to win it. It's not even play Incursion match. You have to win that Incursion match.
There were some matches like I got a couple Rifts games, and no, actually, I'm sorry. What is it? It was a win. Damn, it was a win not the win incursion map. Yeah, actually, it was win incursion. I got that twice, and I couldn't win it. And so I'm like, well, that sucks. I'm not gonna get the one here like MC. So I gotta, hopefully someone's gonna pick that map again, and then hopefully we're gonna win. And that's just, I don't like that. I do not like that. I'm gonna just shut up right now. Before I say something I shouldn't.
This whole event is really fiddly. Like, it's 12 separate challenges, all of which a fair number of them have very particular requirements. It's not just jump in a missile mech, do missile damage. It's win an incursion match. So you have to remember all the modes you've played, which ones you needed to win, and on which maps, whilst at the same time also trying to grind 500 match score, 150 match score games, and destroy missiles by AMS for all those people who are silly enough to take missiles still. This event is like the complete opposite of previous ones, where the previous ones were just play the game, you get stuff. This one is a very convoluted checklist that you have to tick off, and eventually you get colors, you get MC, some MC, and a hero mech. But it's a lot of work for not much payoff.
Well, the colors I do like. That's what I liked about it. The colors is what I like, because I've been dying for some colors.
3 colors is pretty good. I would say that. Yeah, and the hero is pretty good. It's just a lot of work, relatively speaking. But in the end, I did all of it except for the Solaris part. And that's just because I can't be bothered with Solaris, and it's only 500,000 C-bills. I did do the Faction Warfare one. I did some testing, and that does technically count. If you do scouting, you win one match in scouting. You get 100 MC. Easy peasy.
But like I said, play one match in Factory in Solaris mode. So you have to hopefully get picked on with the Factory with the Factory one. Hopefully
you have to hope your opponent doesn't vote it out, because it's a ban system, right?
Yeah.
So you ban everything other than Factory and hope they don't ban Factory. Also, since it's Solaris, you can always just
jump on
find
with
a
a
queue
friend
with not many people and play against one friend.
I hate these events. I hate them. Okay. Anyways, it triggers me so bad when these events are like that, because it's dependent upon other people in the game. And I'm sorry, the community's good and awesome, don't get me wrong, but there are a bunch of a-holes out there too. so it's like, it triggers me so hard when they do this kind of crap. Shoot down the UAV, but isn't everyone else going to shoot it down too? I'm like, at
least at the end, I got an XL 380 to sell. Plenty of C-bills and MC and colors.
Yay.
And another part of the event too is there's mech sales. There's all cool shots 50% off. Yay. Okay. Heat sinks are 50% off. That, I guess, is okay. It wasn't really a problem. Engines are 50% off. That is awesome. Mask and equipment 50% off, and all armor types 50% off. So it does definitely help you. For the chassis and everything else inside, Game Champion, Centurion, Bushwhacker, Orion, which I did purchase a Centurion and plus Orion, the Awesome Atlas and Annihilator are 50% off, which definitely does help. And then obviously the choose 4 Mechs dropship deals. I guess it's so popular that they've been doing this thing. Choose 4 Mechs for $16.
Stupid question. At least on the store, you can see stealth armor, Ferrofibrous and whatnot is on quote unquote sale, and you can actually buy it. Like just, why am I buying 10 points of Ferrofibrous armor? It will save me money later when I equip it. What?
Beautiful.
Exactly.
I'm kind of tempted to buy it. It's really dirt cheap, and I want to see if it breaks the game.
Oh god. Okay.
So yeah,
Anyways,
the engines is a really big thing, since engines are a huge C-bill sink, particularly for Ionosphere mechs. So this is a great time, really great time to actually equip your mechs. A whole bunch of mechs on sale. A lot of them are the older Classico mechs, but Champion's pretty good, Bushwhacker's pretty good, Annihilator of course pretty good. And then you've got your awesomes, Atlases, Orions.
Hey, I think the Awesome's awesome, man.
Yeah,
I
it's not too bad.
That thing.
Yeah. And then don't get the Centurion. Simple.
What I like more though are the dropship sales. I think the Selection B mech, $20, especially since you can pick the hero mechs out of the offered chassis. I think that's decent value. So if you're looking to pick those up, it's... I mean, I wouldn't say it's great value, but if you do want to spend more money on this game, sure, go ahead.
It's much better than buying them when, they had the hero packs came out. I sadly did buy some of those, so now I've got this kind of awkward situation where I spent a lot of money on individual mechs when I could have just waited for this particular bundle and picked them all up at once.
Yeah, and it's still a lot better value than buying them via MC, because buying MC is just so overpriced.
And you're getting heavies and assaults, $5 a pop for assault mech heroes. That's pretty.
Yeah, that's
decent.
actually a good deal.
Yeah.
Like weren't the other ones, like when they had them like individually, like $30 or something, or like 25 or something like that? Yeah.
Yeah, you're paying stuff like 10 for a light mech.
So not a bad deal, and like compared to what we used to pay for. Well, of course, then the gold mechs, we were talking about $600 or $500 for freaking mech.
Well, that's always going to be outliers. But...
Damn.
We're always gonna make fun of that, and we're always gonna team kill gold mechs.
Okay. Yeah, and also as part of the Mechwarrior 3, kind of, what is it, 20 years ago? 20 years ago with Mechwarrior. Damn, 20 years ago I played Mechwarrior 3. That's amazing. In fact, speaking of Mechwarrior 3.
Right. Mechwarrior 3, personally a game very close to my heart. It was the first video game I have ever played at the age of 5, sneaking to my father's laptop. Obviously, if you want to play it nowadays, it's kind of old and not that easy to run. So for those of you guys interested in playing Mechwarrior 3 once again on Windows 10, it is possible. It's not all that hard. It just requires you to do some extra steps beyond the installation. So I'm gonna quickly mention what you have to do if you want details and a step-by-step tutorial. You can check the tutorial.
I'll leave links down below.
Yeah, links are down below. That's what I was trying to say. Basically, what you have to do is, step 1, you install the game the way you install it back on Windows XP and older, by simply inserting the disk or downloading the ISO file and mounting a virtual disk, applying the patches. Second on, you need to use a software called DJ Voodoo 2, which does something, I'm not quite certain what it does. The third step is kind of funny, you need to download a frame rate limiter, because if you run a game on modern hardware, the physics are paired to your frame rate. So if your frame rate is something like 2000, your physics are also sped up by 2000. So let's just say if you step over a ledge, your mech is suddenly catapulted into orbit and you're never coming back down. It's stupid, it's funny, but it breaks the game because you can't finish your missions. Especially once the enemy starts going skyborne. And then suddenly you've got your own mech, couple enemy mechs, and a crap ton of enemy tanks floating in the sky, going ridiculously fast, and it's impossible to kill anything.
I assume this happened.
Yeah, this obviously happened.
Okay.
I even tried to play the campaign once in that mode. It did not work out. Yeah, anyway, if you're interested in playing Mechwarrior 3, go check the link in the description. There's a step-by-step installation tutorial on Reddit for you to just follow along. And I can highly recommend the game. I think it still looks fairly pretty. And it's definitely a whole lot of fun.
I would like to actually go back to that, like especially though. Pirates Moon was pretty cool, like a long time ago.
Yep. Just a quick FYI, you can't stream it. I tried.
You can't or can?
You can't. OBS just really doesn't like it.
Next is Public Test Faction Play Update. Have you guys did this? Because last time we tried this and we really didn't get anything done.
Nope. I am sitting in queue right now. Beyond me, there are 5 people sitting in queue. Sadly, we need 24 to start a game.
Yeah, you're in the 12v12 mode.
That's sad.
This most recent PTS, it's just simply testing stability of the matchmaker and whatnot. I don't know why you necessarily need the player base. This is something I think you could just, use servers, ping things across servers across the world to do. But it is what it is, and it does offer very good rewards again, or at least hopefully if you can even earn them, which is 1 mech bay, 5 million sea bills, and a faction warhorn of your choice.
Yeah, not a bad thing to go and have. But what are the requirements to actually get in? Or just one
is where it gets really interesting, because if you look at the description, first it says, log into the PTS client and you will be able to select your reward pack. So I would assume I just log in and I can select it after the PTS is done. But then there's another thing called Steps to Getting Your Rewards, where it says something about Step 3, complete the challenge on the PTS. So, alright, I'm starting up the PTS, I'm logging into the game, I'm checking challenges. Oh, no active challenges on the PTS. To summarize it, we have absolutely no idea what you have to do.
Hey, Chris, might want to go ahead and explain a little bit more. Might help, basically people actually, I just got to log in, and then they get kind of pissed off later on. But just an idea, I guess.
Yeah, so presumably play a game, but it's not ideal. We have no idea.
And how long have we all been playing? What, 15 years together? Like total, basically? And we're sitting there, how do we get this?
PTSs are a different system entirely. But it's very weird. Right now, all I'm doing is in the store buying cool shots.
I know.
There we go. I've got 50 cool shots in the bank.
Mana potions are cheating. Stop it.
And how much are they now? Yeah, how much are the cool shots?
It's 50% off. So instead of 40,000, they're 20,000.
20 grand. Okay.
Oh my god, such value.
Boy, you have a lot of space bucks. I can't even afford that. I got nothing.
Every 10 is 200,000, but it's much better than paying 40,000 for each of them.
Yeah.
And then if you ever have debates with people about the cool shots aren't worth the price, I'm like, but I got all mine on bulk at 50% off. So now how do the numbers calculate?
So that was faction updates. If you could get in, cool. If you can play a match, cool. But it is don't they have like phases like scouting
it's still doing that 3-phase thingy-majig, the annoying one. If you want to just, because there's only so many people in queue, I think you could do scouting now, right now, Ian, but it's not the right mode.
40 seconds until the scouting mode starts, and at that point I might be able to find a game with those 5 other guys. Let's see. wish me luck, guys. I've got 1 hour to find a game.
I'm so looking forward to this event system screwing over people who want to do just scouting and screwing over the people who just want to do invasion.
I have high hopes for this, for the faction play. If they fundamentally change the game, I don't know what they can do. I don't know, what their boundaries are, what their limitations are, like whatever. Basically, I just hope they change the game for better and not just fix the matchmaking system. Because granted, that is a part of it. That's a part of like the problem with the faction warfare. but they have to put in some other incentives for playing faction warfare. We fixed how you guys attack each other. It's like, okay, that's cool. The whole problem is we didn't really like it before, so the only thing you changed was a matchmaker system, and that's it. I hope they change a lot more in the system. I know they're putting more lore into it, which is nice, which is cool. I love that, even though they got Thomas Marek wrong. But I just hope they actually do something more than just doing little fixes here and there. They got to fundamentally change it to get people involved into it, to hype people like into faction warfare. I'm going to try it. I'm going to do what I can, basically kind of jumping in and doing things, but I don't know. I just hope to do a good job, man.
And that was today's episode of Old Bob is still trying to be positive about faction play.
I'm a positive guy, man. I got to be positive, but it's draining really quickly. It's draining.
If I were in charge of this, like with all the talk, the simple things. Okay, step 1, increase rewards by 10%. Step 2, you're done.
Or step 2 was actually put in more lore into it, which is cool.
No,
that was step 2.
That's a lot more hassle. Increasing the numbers by 10% is so easy.
Okay.
Relatively easy. That would be my objectives. All right, we want to encourage people to do faction play. Increase rewards by 10%. Done.
I guess the compromise would be step 2, find volunteers from the player base to put an optional lore.
Yeah.
Like they're kind of doing. So I good on them, I guess. Yay.
Yeah, I work on the planets, but it takes a lot of work, man. It takes a lot. I'm doing like a planet or 2 a day. I'm like, oh god, there's so many damn planets.
Step 1, increase rewards by 10%. Step 2, add a link to Sana. Done.
You know what? I would take that. Put an in-game browser where you can click a planet and the Sana site opens in-game. So, next topic is the Mechwarrior 5 Mercenary AMA. I have no idea what was going on, but apparently it happened. Old Bob, wanna say something?
Something. I was streaming at the time. I clicked in really quick, and there's people I didn't know, and so I didn't really sit down and listen to it, and so I don't know. That's about what happened, really. But I did find out on the No Guts No Galaxy, you're able to watch the past episodes, I believe. I'll have to double check on that. I'll leave links down below, guys, so you can check out the past ones if you guys want to, put them in your car and go listen to them like on the road or something. But I don't know anything what this one was. I just didn't have time.
Right, so I guess we've got nothing more to add. Sure. In that case,
just procedural generation and stuff.
So, what's next? Next topic, something real quick I personally want to add. As you may or may not know, in October, Paradox Interactive, the publisher behind games like Stellaris, Europa Universalis, Crusader Kings, and Battletech, is hosting PDX Con once again, this time in Berlin for a single day. And on May 7th at 7 a.m. Central European Time, the tickets are gonna go on sale. So if you really wanna come join me and a lot of other cool people in Berlin in October, May 7th, mark in your calendar, go ahead and get a ticket, and I'm looking forward to seeing everyone there.
I just want to make something clear. There are cool people in Berlin?
I wouldn't say they're in Berlin, but there are a lot of cool people outside of Berlin who will travel to the city for this one day.
I'm just joking, yeah. If I could, it'd be cool to go to Germany. I would love to go to Germany, but funds aren't there.
It's sadly fairly expensive and really far for most people, but I guess if you're situated in Europe, it might be a good chance to meet some like-minded people.
Definitely.
Yep. So you can buy the ticket and then wait for the extra €40, €40, I guess in this case, DLCs to come out in the coming months.
Okay. Next up is just a quick thing. We found out through Twitter and through Mechwarrior that through the Twitterverse that patch notes, the Snowtown will be better off to see. So Hibernate Rift will be better to see. They're gonna fix the gamma on that, so you guys will be able to see stuff that's out there. Just looking at the picture, I'm able to actually see the hills where I can actually climb up instead of actually being stuck like where I'm at. So it's a good thing. They're doing good things for the patch notes. So that'll be coming out next patch.
Yep, that was a common complaint. Takes a month to fix, but it'll be fixed.
Yeah, it'll be fixed. That's what we found out. I couldn't find anything else for it. So, anyways, about the patch notes.
Right, and to
Okay.
round it up, we have just a quick little discussion on 60 tonners, because I think Bob, you saw some people in the forums who were discussing
Yes,
60
I
tonners.
saw some people in the forums. It was glorious. It was glorious. No,
thread.
Yeah. I did see a thread in the forums about 60 tonners, and I mean, I didn't read through the whole thing, but it was mostly just they were talking about the riflemen's and how the rifleman's is a good mech, depending on how you use it. It's not, but most of the 60 tonners are not top of the line front brawlers. They're more support mechs than like anything else, and so a lot of people were talking about that.
Well, it's funny, the opening post is like, oh, I'm using the rifleman, but I can't out-brawl heavier mechs, and I'm not fast. And it's like, well, that's not the rifleman's job. It's a fire support mech, very much so. And he's equating the rifleman with all 60 tonners, and plenty of others were pointing out that there's actually a fair number of pretty strong 60 tonners out there, and it's a lot more down to just what kind of role you think the mech should take, rather than trying to outcompete smaller mechs at being fast and nimble, and competing heavier mechs on being, a big heavy brawling gunboat.
Which won't happen, basically.
Yeah, exactly. If you're trying to be a 100-tonner, the 100-tonner is going to be a lot better at being a 100-tonner than 60-tonner. And likewise, if you're trying to be a locust, you're not going to do so well at being a locust with 60 tons on your back. Well, the most part, though, at least on... Yeah?
Oh, no, go ahead. Like, I was just going to say, like, mechs like Quick Draw were brought up as far as like a really good, kind of like a quick, like insert mech. But it's not a brawler like the rest of the mechs out there type thing. That's what they're talking about. And I'll leave links down below. Sorry.
Yeah, I would usually say that actually 60 tonners are quite strong in the game right now. They do often, a bit like with ATMs, people will complain about them getting shot down or whatever, and like 60 tonners, because they're quote unquote heavy, people say, oh no, these aren't as good as the other heavies, even though your quick draw is closer to being a Shadowhawk than it is to being an Orion.
Yeah.
And comparatively speaking, if you're looking like at stats like agility, your quick draw is, lots of the 60 tonners have better agility than most, like 50 tonners, 55 tonners even. Like they have the agility of 45 tonners. Like you're 5 tons heavier, and sure, you're a bit slower, but you're actually more agile than your Shadowhawks. A lot more agile than your Shadowhawks for some reason. It's and they also often have a lot of very strong quirks, survival quirks, weapon quirks. Like quick draw often, like the IV4 of course comes to mind. Missile cooldown 20%, ballistic cooldown 20%. The quick draw 4G has 20% energy cooldown, 15% missile cooldown. Same with the dragon, like 20% cooldowns, very high UAC jam chance. Dragon, quick draw, champion, all really solid 60 tonners for the most part. Otherwise, though, the rifleman is somewhat, in my opinion, one of the weaker 60 tonners. It's not got much going for it. It's got pretty poor agility. It's got poor survival stats and middling cooldown quirks. Its main advantage is just its peaking profile, which it shares somewhat with the Aegon mech. But that's the thing, you have a good shape, so it has its own advantages. The clan mechs as well, though, the Hellfire and Mad Dog, have, more quirks than a lot of other clan mechs, but they're still kind of middling, and they both are hit kind of hard with the missile nerfs, other than if you're using ATMs, so just use them as ATM boats.
Last night when I was actually, I purchased the champion for my alt account, and I was really surprised after using a whole bunch of like different other mechs. And it's like, damn, this champion just moves like crazy. It looked really, really, really nice agility for it. I think you talked me into getting the 3N, which was a good buy. And I was just surprised on how agile this champion mech was. It was just amazing. And that's one of the things we're talking about, like the quick draw and everything else. It just, they're not brawlers. They're really kind of like a fill-in mech to fill in holes or support mechs. So that's really what you got to use these for. Don't use them for brawlers.
Other than its turn rate, it has the same acceleration and deceleration as, say, a Blackjack, a 45-ton mech. Yeah. In fact, it's almost on par with the Centurion Hero, the Yenlo Wang. Like, that mech's been given lots of extra agility to try and make it viable. Sadly, it's okay. But yeah, champions, quick draws, dragons, they have amazing agility. And even on the clan side, the Hellfire has Mask to give it 50 acceleration and deceleration for short bursts. That's almost as good as like the Oxide or Urban Mech in terms of agility. So yeah, I would actually say on whole, 60 tonners are actually in a very nice spot, more or less. There are issues across different variants. Like a lot of the dragons really suffer with their hard points. The best ones, of course, is like the one with 3 ballistics, so you could do 3 AC2 or 3 UAC2, that type of thing. Whereas the others have to do weird mixed loadouts. And there's a fair number of the quick draw variants, like they have good cooldown quirks, but they don't have heat gen quirks usually to try and offset it, which means you're kind of they usually are really toasty ovens, which I guess is kind of appropriate given their stock loadouts and stock playstyle.
Overall, good mechs. So, like, if you're just don't want to brawl or don't want to learn or just whatever, basically, go ahead and pick these mechs for the 60 tons. They are a good class of mechs to have.
All the heavy mechs in MWO are generally sort of the sweet spot for most players. People really like playing their heavy mechs. They have a good mix of speed, mobility, firepower. They're not too super slow like assault mechs, and they're not too squishy like medium mechs. So all of them are a really good spot. If you're going to see mechs with problems, you really want to look at the really light ones, the really heavy ones, and just lights, mediums, and assaults on average have a lot more problems going for them. Particularly, like my biggest problem category would be, of course, Inner Sphere light mechs typically, particularly with the missile nerfs, and Inner Sphere 50 tonners are really underwhelming. Like I don't know why the Crab has such poor agility. It is outsped by the Thanatos or Catapult heroes. Why? It's I mean, it's a nice. I guess the problem has always been just crab rushes, but we haven't seen that in a while. At least I haven't.
No, I haven't either, actually.
Nope.
I haven't seen most of that. Okay, so is that it, guys? And it looks like Ian got your scouting match. Did you?
Yes, so apparently PTS round 3 is not as deserted as the previous rounds, probably because of the rewards we were talking about earlier. So if you get the time frame for a scouting match, you have a chance to actually get in a game.
This is how good we are on. Sorry, go ahead.
It still took me like 2 hours, but we got a game. All worth it.
This is how good we are, like in the game. This is how good we are, like on the podcast. We can play games at the same time we're actually doing the podcast. We're that good.
And I even won.
and we won.
So yeah, we'll have a lot more hopefully to discuss next week with the upcoming patch, I think.
So that was episode 84,000 with our hosts, Biter,
Lark,
Ian,
bye-bye,
and myself, Old Bob. Bye-bye. Thank you for watching the First Circuit podcast, and we'll see you on the battlefield.